Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I have a very anticipated fun video for you guys. I know it's going up a little later than I had planned. Basically, I started posting my back to school videos a little too late, and so I had too many filmed and planned out for them to go up like in time. I know a lot of you guys are already back to school. Obviously, when you're seeing this video, probably everyone who's going back to school is back to school, including myself. Anyways, this video is going up like either right before you go back to school if you're going back after Labor Day, and if not, then you're probably already back in school. So it's going up later than I had planned, but I kind of had no choice because it just kind of worked out that way. But a lot of you guys did take the time to ask me some good questions, so I definitely wanted to answer them for you guys in this video. Guys, oh my god, I almost forgot to mention it. This is my 1-year anniversary on YouTube today when this video is going up, and I just want to say thank you guys so much. All of you who have been here since the beginning, if you just joined in, no matter who you are, when you joined, thank you for joining my little YouTube community, my little YouTube family. We have so much fun, and I could not thank you guys enough. I just really enjoy making this. It's always been a dream of mine to start a YouTube channel, and it took me so long to get into it, and ever since I've started, there's been nothing but love and support from you guys, and I've just really loved getting to know so many of you and seeing your channels grow and supporting each other. It's been amazing. So I just wanted to say thank you guys. I didn't want my 1 year to go unnoticed because I know a lot of you guys have been here since the beginning, and I just thought you guys deserved a big thank you, and I am definitely not stopping anytime soon. I'm really excited to see what the future holds, to watch the channel grow, to meet more of you guys. And, you know, those of you who already kind of know, I hope that we can become even greater friends, because this has been just such a positive experience in my life. It's given me confidence, joy, happiness, motivation, a project to work on. I feel really fulfilled when I edit and upload my YouTube videos and get your feedback. So thank you guys so much for all the love and support. I'm really excited to keep going on this journey, and yeah, I just wanted to say thank you guys. You guys are the best, and okay, enough with the cheesiness. I'm done now. I didn't really go through the questions and pick out a logical order to answer them. I'm just going to go ahead from the first comment on my video asking me a question to the very last in that order. I'm going to go ahead and put screenshots of the questions here so that I don't butcher your guys' name. You guys can see it on the screen. So I'll just go ahead and read the questions. So I'm going to high school. How bad is it? Okay, so this is a very, oh no, my computer, hold on. Don't close on me now. This is a very difficult question for me to answer because high school will really depend on where you go, where you live, what your I don't know how to answer this. Like, it's really going to depend on a lot of factors for high school experience. So for me, I can say for me personally, I went to a private high school, and academics were extremely important is an understatement. Academics were everything to them. I went to a private high school that focused highly on academic performance, high achievement, and if you weren't achieving high enough, if you weren't meeting their standards, they would kick you out from one day to the next. The pressure in high school for me came from higher up, but also from myself, because they put so much pressure on us to always be the best and that it was never good enough, that kind of transcended down onto me, and now I'm kind of that way myself, just in general. I never think anything's good enough, and I put so much pressure on myself. So for me, high school, I hated it. It was really bad for that reason, because it was just too much pressure, too much, you know, it was never good enough. So that put a strain on me and my high school experience, because a lot of people love high school. For me, I absolutely hated it, especially because of the academics. Now, I'm not trying to scare you, because that's what I'm trying to say, is that it really depends where you go, what you're doing, who you surround yourself with. Those are all big factors in how you're gonna, you know, have your high school experience. And overall, I would say the school that I went to also had a lot of cliques. There were different programs where I went, like the sports program, the general, the dance, the music, like those kind of programs. And people were very, like, divided, very separated. And that created cliques, and that created conflict and cattiness. So just the whole environment I really didn't like, but I can't say that that would be generalized to every high school. You might love your high school experience, because I know some people who loved their high school experience, but for me, academic-wise, it was so difficult. Yes, it was difficult to outperform because everyone was, you know, really high achieving at that school, but it was also just the pressure and the fact that it was never good enough. It was never enough. It was what took a strain on me, and also like mentally took a strain on me. But it was also the people. The people were so competitive that it could be hard sometimes to find people that you could truly trust and be around as your friends, because people were so competitive, and sometimes it was hard to, like, I don't know how to explain it, but hopefully you guys are getting what I mean. So for me, high school was pretty bad in a lot of ways. I did make some good friends. I was lucky to have a close circle of friends at the time. I'm no longer friends with a lot of them, just because I find that you really grow out of high school. When you leave high school, either you have lifelong friends or you grow apart, because it's a very changing time in your life. You're learning who you are as an individual. You're really growing into the person that you're going to be as an adult. So that can either make you grow closer to the people you did that transition with, or grow apart. For me, it was definitely grow apart, because it was great while I had them. It was a good time in my life. I needed to have those friends. But as soon as we were done with high school, things started to fall apart. We really wanted different things. We were older. We, you know, were down different paths, and it just wasn't working anymore, and that was okay. But anyways, I'm not going to get into that whole story, but all I'm saying is that high school for me was very difficult. I didn't like it. But don't go into high school dreading it and thinking that way, because you're setting yourself up for failure. I would say my best advice is to basically go into high school thinking it's a new opportunity, it's a new step in your life to make new friends, to take on new challenges, to get involved with whatever activities you like. Make the most of it. I think that that's the best tip that I can give you, is despite all the, you know, bad things and hard times, really try and invest as much energy in making the most of it, because high school should be a fun time, but it isn't for everyone. So you really have to do your best to try and put a good foot forward and start off well, and hopefully your 4 or 5 years in high school, depending where you're going to school, is going to, you know, not be so bad. And yeah, that's basically what I'd say. And also I would say what's really important is to find some good friends. If it's just one friend, if it's a few friends, if it's a close group of friends, find people that you can trust, and that'll make getting through high school so much easier. And you know, in terms of mean girls and cliques and parties and pressure about peer pressure, academic pressure if you're in a very high driven academic school, try and see the bigger picture. It can be really difficult when you're that age to see that this is not going to matter in real life once you're out of high school, but it doesn't. I know I have a lot to say about this topic, but it is near and dear to my heart, and I was just thinking about this the other day, how in high school you're so caught up, and it's such a hard time because you're going through so many changes just within yourself and trying to figure out who you are, and everyone's doing that, so it's just a very chaotic place to be in your life. And already now, like that I'm 20, almost 21, I already feel more at peace with myself. I already feel more like I have accepted myself, and that is such a nice feeling to feel. And I'm not saying everyone's going to have that as soon as they leave high school. Some people might have it in high school. But I'm just saying you have to like keep reminding yourself, as much as it seems like this is impossible, it will pass. And if you are going through a hard time in high school is not forever, and it will be better once you're done with it, I promise. What is your favorite long-wearing makeup, or any tips for long-lasting makeup? And I agree with other viewers about lunch ideas. Okay, perfect. So basically, long-wearing makeup, I really like this question because I totally agree that long-wearing makeup is important for special events, but for school as well, because most of us will be getting up. When I went to high school, I got up at 6 or 5:30 every single morning. I would go with pretty minimal makeup. Like, I'm not saying no makeup at all, but I would go with either a light BB cream or foundation, maybe a little bit of bronzer or a contour if you have time for that. If not, skip that. Maybe just put a little bit of blush, whatever you're comfortable with. But I always did a little bit of like tight lining and mascara. that was usually my everyday makeup, and that's makeup that it's not like eyeshadow. It won't necessarily fade, or it's pretty long lasting. It should last you all day because you're probably going to be coming home at like around 4. That's how it was for me. So overall, your makeup should last, but I would say the best way is to either use some sort of a primer. If you have, I think oily skin would probably be the trickiest to make your makeup last. Get some sort of a mattifying primer or like a pore filling primer that'll really make your makeup stick to your face and last all day. That's a really, really good tip. If you have dry skin and you don't want your foundation to start breaking up as the day goes on, use a hydrating primer or a moisturizer before you apply your makeup. Then once you've applied your makeup, powder the areas that you know fade or crack or start to crumble off first, which is usually the forehead, the nose, and like chin area that will get shiny and start to like fall apart first. But for some people that actually is the cheek and stuff like that. So powder where you know your makeup is most likely to like fall apart throughout the day. And if you want, you can carry either blotting sheets or some sort of a powder with you, or a little bit of concealer to touch up. But I never really did that in school. I mean, let's face it, who really has time for touch-ups when you're in school, right? So I would just do that, and then this is kind of still to this day what I do. And then the key thing for me, now the drugstore is starting to come out with them, so it's really, really great option if you can, you know, it is a little bit of a luxury, but once you have it, you won't be able to go without. I discovered this probably halfway through high school, and I've used it ever since, is a makeup setting spray. I use the, you guys have seen me use it in a bunch of videos, the Urban Decay setting spray, the all-nighter setting spray. Literally, this will lock in your makeup and it will not move, and I think that that's really, really great, especially since you're having such a long day. You don't have time for touch-ups. You might have gym class, you might have pictures going on, like picture day, like I don't know what you're doing, if it's hot where you live, if it's cold, but this will really lock in your makeup. And I would say that's my best tips for long lasting makeup, is to just be aware of what you're doing. See what works for you too, because this will not necessarily work for everything. What works for, if you have really dry skin, maybe powdering isn't the best idea, but see what works for you. But for me, that is my best tips for making your makeup last longer. How do you deal with people who constantly bug you or cause you stress when you are trying to only focus on studying? Like if someone constantly bugs you but you need to study, how do you tell them that you're busy in a nice way so they leave you alone? How do you deal with people like that? Okay, so I think basically what she means is people who are kind of like a distraction. I would just be honest with that person and be like, listen, like, I'm really sorry, I'd love to hang out, or I'd love to talk, like, message you back or whatever, but I'm studying right now, can we do this later? Like, I really need to focus on studying, I have this test coming up. I mean, just be honest with them. If you need to study, you need to study, and the person should understand because they should be probably in the same boat as you. So I would just say be honest. You don't have to blow them off and be like, I don't ever want to talk to you ever again. But you could just be like, listen, I'm really sorry. Like, I'd really love to hang out, or I'd really love to talk, but I have this big test coming up that I need to study for, or I have this assignment due, so we're going to have to do it another time. Like, I don't think there's anything rude about that. Just be nice about it, and the person will understand. And I'm sure one day that'll happen to them as well, where they're going to have to tell you the same thing. Do you enjoy, or did you enjoy school? So I'm still in school. I am starting my second year of university, and that's a loaded question. I really hated high school, as you guys can probably tell. It was just not the environment for me. And overall, I do like school in the way that I am very high achieving and I like to do well. So I like school in that way, but I think it's just because I put too much pressure on myself and I take everything too seriously and I stress too much about everything. So it makes me not like school because I'm too in my head all the time and I put too much pressure on myself, so it's not enjoyable. I don't really, experience the full experience with all the fun activities that everyone else might, because I'm just too focused and sometimes it takes its toll on me. But I think that the side of school that I really did enjoy was I've met so many great people over the years, and I mean, school has taught me a lot about life in general, about being more open-minded and, never just accepting something the way it's presented to me, to always dig deeper and see if there's like another side to a story and try and, be able to understand everyone's point of view. I did get a lot out of school and I did enjoy it in that way, and as I said, meeting new people, having new experiences. But in terms of academically, I think sometimes I put too much stress and pressure on myself, and that makes me not really like school. What's your favorite makeup essential, and what's the best thing to take for lunch? Every year I always start to make lunch, but find throughout the year I forget, or I'm too busy to make something, and I don't know what's fast but healthy and won't get soggy in my lunchbox. I really wish I had a good answer for the lunch question, because a lot of you guys wanted to know this, but I am really bad at school lunches, like so bad. Okay, I'm gonna start with the makeup essentials. So I guess school makeup essentials, I don't take makeup to school with me. I mean, I have a concealer in my bag and maybe like a lip gloss or a lipstick that I'm wearing, but I don't bring like a whole makeup kit with me where I go usually, just because I don't have time and I don't take the time to touch anything up. But I guess for makeup essentials, if you did want to bring some to school, I would say bring concealer in case you have a spot or something that comes out throughout the day that you just want to camouflage a little bit. Concealer is always good to have. A little bit of powder to set or, you know, take away oiliness or anything like that, with just like some sort of little powder brush that you can use on the go, and maybe like a lip balm, lip gloss type thing. That's pretty much the extent of what I would bring. That's pretty much it. If you wanted to, you know, have more, I would say mascara is an essential. If you want a little bit of liner maybe, but I think that if you've done your makeup in the morning, you just need, if anything, to touch up a little bit. So I would just bring the few essentials that I just mentioned. I don't think you need to bring a lot with you, especially if, you know, you're younger and you're going to school. Like, nobody is going to take the time to touch up their makeup, I don't think. And the lunch question, I know, I feel the same exact way as you. Every year I start out being like, I'm going to make good lunches, I'm going to bring them to school, and then you get busy, you get lazy, things get, you know, crazy, stressful, and who has time to, like, the night before make yourself a gourmet lunch to bring to school, you know? When I was in high school, my mom usually made my lunch, and typically it would either be some sort of a sandwich that I would take with me. And I know you said, how does it not get soggy in your lunch? I would say the best tip for that, if you do like lettuce or tomatoes or anything that's kind of wet that would make your bread soggy, I would say pack it in a separate little like Tupperware that you can bring with you, and you can kind of just assemble your sandwich really fast once you get to school. Just like add in the tomatoes or the lettuce or whatever, and that's a really good tip. It won't get soggy because it'll have been in a separate container. But in terms, so I usually had a sandwich, or I might have had like leftovers from the night before. I really did like, if let's say we had eaten like the night before, like I really loved as a lunch to have chicken and rice, which sounds really plain and boring, but it is quite a healthy lunch and it makes for something more than just a regular sandwich. So I really liked that. Now that I'm older and I'm in university, I don't go to school every single day, and when I do go, I just buy my lunch because I'm traveling a lot and my bag's already heavy enough and it's just too complicated. I don't have time. I take the train really early in the morning, and so I usually just buy my lunch. There's this delicious panini place right across the street from my school, and they have really healthy like salads, pasta salads, and paninis, and they're like on, you know, whole wheat bread, and they're really like healthy, fresh ingredients. And I really love going there, and that's usually always where I get my lunch. I am downtown now, so there's a lot of temptation to go to fast food restaurants and stuff like that, but ever since that I've found this one place, I keep going back to it. Try and find somewhere that, if you are on campus or something similar to my situation, try and find somewhere where you really like, that's in, you know, close walking distance, and that will be able to rule out the unhealthy options. For me, I love my panini place so much that I prefer to go there over the A&W that's right next to it, you know? If you're having a weekday or a cheat day or whatever, like, and you want to go ahead and get yourself something greasy from McDonald's or A&W or whatever, that's totally fine. But in general, I would say if you find somewhere or some alternatives that you really love, you'll be more likely to make that choice. So that would be my best lunch ideas, advice. I know that wasn't really helpful, and that's why I didn't make a whole video on this like a lot of other people did, but a lot of other people have some great videos. I've been seeing my subscription feed fill up with healthy lunch ideas, and I think that that'd be great. So check out some other videos. I'm sorry I was not the right person to answer this question. What are you most looking forward to do when you go back to school? So I guess for me, going back to school is, I dread it right now because I know how stressful it is. Come midterms, come finals, I start to lose my mind and my sanity. But I guess what I am looking forward to is to be back on campus, because I go to school downtown and I don't go downtown every day if I'm not going to school. So I think that it's just fun to be downtown again, where everything is just at arm's reach. I can walk here, walk to there, and I really like being downtown. I love the feeling. I love that everything is like so close and so much going on, and there's so many different kind of people. I really, really enjoy that. So I think that's what I'm most looking forward to. How do you deal with mean girls at school? How do you know if a guy likes you? So I'm guessing you're a little bit younger than I am, and I don't mean that in a bad way at all, but like with time those concerns kind of change. Like now I don't worry about those things anymore, but I do know that when I was in high school, those are things that every girl worries about for sure. And mean girls at schools, I think I already kind of touched on this when I talked about high school, which I'm guessing you're either in middle school or high school with this question, but there are always going to be mean girls, and that sounds really like rough, but I would say don't get in their way. I know that sounds bad, but just find your little group of friends that you can just hang and be happy with, and don't worry, like block those mean girls out. If you don't give them a reason to bother you, they probably won't. They're probably just the popular girl in school, or someone who everyone for some reason in this world looks up to, or deemed the popular queen bee of the school. But she's no different than you are, and honestly, you shouldn't have any reason to worry about her. She shouldn't be doing anything to you. If she is going the extra mile to bully you or to bother you, then you need to speak up and tell an adult, or, you know, do something, because that is not okay. And if she's doing it to you, chances are she's probably doing it to other people. Obviously, the mean girls are always going to make you feel small and make you feel not pretty or not important, but that's just kind of their role, and that's just kind of how they make everyone feel. And it has nothing to do with you specifically. It's just kind of how it happened. Why did she become this girl in your school? I don't know, but there's always one. And you just kind of have to like steer clear of her, not let it bother you, have your friends, and know that in a few years, like in the real world, there always will be mean people. There will always be mean girls, mean guys that go through life like very obnoxious, and somehow they get what they want. But there reaches a point where when these people are done high school, nobody's going to care that they were the most popular person in high school. It's not going to make a difference in real life. It's real life. You're an adult, you're an individual who has to function in society and be, you know, polite, and so that's just how it is. And I would definitely say that that's the best way to handle a mean girl. Just don't let it get to you. I don't know if a guy likes you. This is kind of just like, I don't know. I think this is all something we kind of deal with our whole lives. But at that young age, I would say don't be caught up worrying about if a guy likes you, because there will be guys your whole entire life, okay? They will always be in your head. They will always make you lose sleep at night. They're always going to cause problems. But this is the time for you to focus on finding yourself. And I wish I would have taken more time. I mean, it's also the time to invest in your friends and make, you know, good connections and deep, rich friendships that might last you your whole life, or at least will help you get through these really difficult years. I think learning to know yourself, the earlier the better, and having good friends to get you through high school or middle school or wherever you are is the most important. And I wouldn't say don't get caught up on guys. Oh, does he like me? Yeah, it's fun to just, you know, play around with the idea, and when you're sleeping over at your friend's house to talk about boys, of course, but don't get too caught up in it, because there will always be boys. There's always going to be someone that's going to like you or not like you, but you're in a very fragile time in your life where you have to figure out what you want, and that's way more important to figure that out before you bring anyone else along. If there's a boy that happens to come along the way, then that's great. Embrace it, have fun with it, you're young, enjoy it, but don't worry about, oh, does this guy like me, should I do this? Like, no. Focus on school, focus on your friends, focus on yourself, and that will make for stronger, more meaningful relationships when you're a little bit older. It would be interesting to know what your typical get-ready routine on a day filled with classes is like. Okay, so my typical get ready with me routine is I did post a back to school makeup look. You guys should check that out because it's it's literally exactly what I do to get ready in the morning. I will describe it to you, but check out that video. It's not an enhance, oh, I put a little bit of eyeshadow on, even though that's not true. This is literally what I do every morning. Okay, so I get up in the morning, I brush my teeth, and then if I'm going to, I wash my face really quick. If I'm going to be doing something with my hair, I will fix up my hair. But usually I will have done my hair the night before. If I just need to curl an extra little strand or straighten a strand, I'll do that. But then I move on to makeup. I just do, a little bit of primer, a little bit of foundation or BB cream, a tiny bit of blush, some tight lining, maybe a little bit of winged liner and mascara, and that's it. I'm out the door because, like I said, I get up very early to catch the train, and so I don't have time to do a full-on huge makeup routine, anything too complicated. So that's literally what I do, but definitely check out that video because it literally answers your question perfectly. You'll be able to see everything that I do. Do you have any study tips for college? Any advice for better grades? What are your favorite classes? So I do have a video up on like my advice for finals or something. I don't remember what it's called, but I do have a video. If you search it on my channel, you'll find it. And I do have like in my back to school series, kind of this sort of video addressing this. So you guys can check those videos out for a more in-depth answer. But basically, study tips for college, I would say stay focused. Make priorities, make lists of what you have to do, and stay on top of it. If you wait last minute for everything, you're going to get so stressed and overwhelmed, and you're not going to do well in anything, because in college and university, you really have to be on top of your game because everybody is there because they're serious about what they're doing. And so I think that, being a little bit ahead of the game, starting early on your projects, assignments, start studying earlier will just in turn, not like prevent all-nighters. They will just, enhance your study experience. It'll make you remember better, get better grades. I would say be on top of things, prioritize, make lists, stay organized. Being prepared is all key to studying better, being more prepared for your tests and your exams, and ultimately getting better grades. In terms of my favorite class, I would say my favorite classes in high school were more along the lines of history, geography, English. I was always better in that side of things versus math, science, that kind of thing. Now I am in business school and my major is marketing, and I would say that that's definitely more my niche. I hate accounting, I hate finance, any of those majors that involve numbers. I have to take some of those basic classes and I hate it, but I am a lot more in the lines of marketing, communication. I love my management classes as well. Right now, those are my favorite classes, and I'm pretty sure that will stay that way because I'm just not a numbers person. I manage because I've managed up until this point, and I will continue to because I have no choice, but I definitely do not enjoy it. It's not my first choice of what I want to be doing. What do you like and dislike about school? What are your favorite subjects? And what will you be studying in university? So I think I kind of just answered that, but I'll go over it quick. So my likes and dislikes about school. Basically, I really like the fact that university is very independent. Like I said, I like being downtown in the city where there's so much going on. And I like that I am in charge of my future and my school and all that sort of thing. But what I dislike the most is that people are so competitive, at least in my business school. They're so competitive. They're willing to tear you apart to bring themselves up. And I found it very difficult. I usually make friends really well and quite easily, but I found it very difficult in university to find people that I can trust, people that I can become friends with, because people are just so competitive and the pressure is so strong and intense, and it's so stressful, and it makes me very anxious. And so that's my major dislike about school, definitely. My favorite subjects, I just answered that. And what I'm going to be studying in university, I'm currently majoring in marketing, like I said, and so I'm going to graduate with a bachelor's in commerce, and I'm not sure for sure if I'm going to want to continue after to a master's or anything like that, but for now, that's what I'm doing, and I'm hoping eventually maybe to stay in the beauty industry because that is what I love, and I think marketing would be a good path to get me there. So that's where I'm at. That's all your questions answered. I really hope this video is not too long, and I hope that you enjoyed it as well. My battery is dying on both my camera and my computer, so I'm going to wrap this up now. And thank you guys so much for watching. Thumbs up if you did enjoy, and if you have any questions that I didn't answer or I didn't answer the way you wanted me to, definitely leave me your questions in the comments and I can address those as well because I love talking to you guys. It's always the best part of filming. I know recently I have not been on top of my game. I have not been answering your comments on my videos. I have not been commenting on other people's channels. I've been so crazy getting back to school. I had to meet with advisors. I've had a lot going on, so I just needed a little bit of time, but I'm slowly coming back, and I apologize for being gone again. I know life gets in the way. What can I do about it? At least there's been some videos going up. And thumbs up if you've enjoyed this back to school series. And thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye!